Good evening, friends and family, and welcome to our first ever virtual open house. This year, as you could tell, we're going to do things very different than we have for in previous years, and for obvious reasons. Nonetheless, we're going to do our best to introduce you to your child's school, their teachers, the subjects that they are studying, and more or less get a feel of daily life here at G Homes Braddock. If you are watching this video, that means that your child during this period of the day is in my class, the Cambridge U.S. History class. My name is Alex Hernandez, and I'm a social studies teacher here at Braddock. For the most part, I've been teaching here since 2000. And for the vast majority of those, 22 years now, I have taught U.S. history. I've been teaching Cambridge U.S. history since Braddock adopted the program more than a decade ago. So yes, about 10 years of students coming in and out of the door of my classroom to take my U.S. history course. And I'd like to say we've enjoyed great success in that decade or so. And we hope to continue to enjoy great success as we try to prepare your children for college and life after by giving them the best and fullest education that we possibly could. And my particular emphasis would be in their historical knowledge, particularly about the United States. Now, the Cambridge U.S. history course is different than possibly the U.S. history course that you took in high school, or national history courses that others took elsewhere, if that's where the origins are. In that our scope is rather narrow, it's not broad. We roughly only go over about 100 years worth of history, which is surprising to a lot of people, students and parents alike. But it is the Cambridge curriculum. It is what Cambridge has designed for Cambridge students. So we start sometime around the 1840s, the Mexican-American War, and we finish with the end of the Great Depression in 1941. So it's only about 100 years, but we go into great detail um, as we come to explore and learn more and more about those 100 years. And we're all doing it with the goal in mind of preparing children for the month of May. All Cambridge students, by their very nature, are high performance and very goal oriented and used to rigor and the expectations of a Cambridge course, are ultimately preparing for this exam at the end of the year, the Cambridge exam. Now, every one of the subjects that your child is taking, Cambridge subjects, has an exam at the end of the year. This is an important exam. Not only does it passing it earn them credit towards a Cambridge diploma, but it also earns them 3 credit hours that they could use in any state public university towards, the credits that they're going to need to complete college. And it would be not out of the ordinary to have Cambridge students walk into college already freshmen, if not sophomore, depending on how successful they are on these exams. Now, the exams is a 2-part exam process, meaning exams are taken on 2 different days. The first day, and it's going to look like this. Put in the screen for the parents. This is the example of exam paper number 1. It's a document-based exam. That means they have to read passages from primary source documents, and there are questions, there are prompts that they have to respond in an essay. So it's essentially 2 essays that day based on their readings of several passages. And then a week later, they're going to come and do the same thing, paper 2, but this time it's free response questions. They're going to have to respond to 4 prompts, namely 4 essays on that day. And if they succeed in earning a score, and this is graded, traditionally it's graded in Great Britain, if they earn a score of an E or above, the British grading system has 1 letter more than we do, they would have passed the course and met the expectations of Cambridge International. As far as readings, the primary reading that we use in this class is the electronic version of this textbook, American History by Alan Brinkley. It's the AP textbook, the AP US History textbook. But because it is available to all of our students electronically through the student portal, and the material is good enough for our purposes, this is the primary source reading. Again, it's electronically. We don't have any actual physical copies to distribute. That's another difference between school today and school 10, 20 years ago. We just don't have the physical books that we used to. Lastly, I'd like to talk about communication between myself and your children. In years prior, perhaps you're familiar, there have been platforms. They call these learning management systems or LMSs, such as Edmodo and Google Classroom, and Teams was the big one last year. This year, the district has launched its pilot year to adopt Schoology, of which next year will be mandatory and will incorporate parental access. We're not there this year, but I've already started using Schoology with my students. Via Schoology, I announce assignments, deadlines, assessments, everything that your child needs to know, whether your child's presently here in school or at the moment absent for whatever reason. Everything is available, posted, and communicated to the student via Teams. There's also a feature that allows messages to be sent back and forth in case there's a question for clarification, for whatnot, it is there. As far as parents and guardians, if you want to contact me, I'll be providing links in the description for the video, because this video will also be posted on my YouTube channel if you want to watch it at a time. I'll be posting links, not just to Cambridge's website, not just to the reading, but also how to reach me. For example, my email. My email is ajhernandez@dadeschools.net. Feel free to write to me, to reach out to me if there's an issue or a concern. And I'm pretty good at getting back within a relatively short period of time. So, mom and dad and friends, that's about all I have to offer you tonight. I don't want this video to be too long, because I do want to save some time for questions and answers if you should have any and you happen to be attending this particular Zoom session. So I hope you enjoy the rest of open house and get to know your children's teachers and our school. And again, if there's any questions after the fact, feel free to contact any of us. You have a great night and enjoy your brief stay here at G. Holmes Braddock, even if it is virtually.